Okay, we're going to replace a LCD on a RX100 M2 Mark II, and you're going to need a little screwdriver like this, a little micro screwdriver, right tip so you don't mess up the screws. This little magnet I got on there to help hold the screws. This one's pretty neat, it's come with other tips, and a toothpick. Okay, first thing, remove the battery. Let the camera sit for a few minutes. Okay, now we're going to remove 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws. Okay, these are tiny little screws, separate size than these. Keep these separated. These are a little bit bigger, the ones that come out of the bottom, those two. Okay, now you're going to have to get the LCD like this. Get your fingernail in there and get that part separate. And before you start taking this plastic off, you got to get underneath this panel here. Let's see if you can see that. You can't get this panel out of the way, so you have to work in between it. And you got to come in here and get this light on it. You gotta come in there with your toothpick. And pop this little this retainer. Till it pops up like that. You see that now, it flipped it up. It's got a little retainer right there. Kind of hard to get in there. And now you want to get this cable. Pull it out. So now it's loose. Okay, now this is separated from the bottom here. See how that's coming off there? You gotta remove this side first. Don't pull up on this side. This is where the cable's going. Gotta get this side off first. Okay, and then you just slide the cable on out. Okay, now there's this little thing right here. This is the auto light sensor when you have your LCD settings set to auto adjust for the brightness. This thing senses the light, and that's a sensor right there. And this is the little plastic thing that picks up the light, and this thing will fall out. You gotta make sure that you don't lose this. Okay, once you got your LCD out, you gotta get your fingernail right in here and start getting that glue unstuck from this piece of plastic. It's just stuck on there around the edge. You can get your fingernail in here. See, there's that little light thing. I'll show you how to put that back in there. Just go around it like this real easy. Just gotta keep working it. You gotta do it slow. That glue they got is pretty tough. And there's your LCD. Now you're going to clean this glue off of this thing. And get all the glue out of the edge here. Okay, once you got the frame all cleaned up, wipe it down, get all that glue out of the edges, wipe it down with some alcohol. Then you're going to need to get some of this stuff. It's a 3M 300 LSC. It's like a double-sided tape, real sticky stuff, real thin. And get you a straight edge, cut you some little strips, no bigger than a millimeter, no bigger than this right here. Put them in the frame all the way around it like that. You don't want them too wide because you don't want it to hit the frame of the LCD. You want it to ride right here only on the glass. And then once you got all that on there, you pull this stuff off. Once it's got it like that, pulled all the backing off, it's all stuck in there. Get your new LCD. This is the top of the camera. Cable goes on this side of it. Start at this end first. Push it down all in there. Okay. Then you get your camera. Bent this thing back up. Feed the LCD cable back through there. Just lay that on there like that. And we gotta flip it back around this way. Okay, well, it was a little too difficult to try to film this and put this LCD cable back in, but I'm just going to show you here. It's just too hard to work with and try to film it. I put a screw in right here to keep the LCD from moving around. You got to get this cable, and it has to go underneath this thing. See that little plastic thing here? It rides underneath that, gets back into the retainer. You gotta line it up in that retainer and make sure it's all the way in, and then flip this little retainer keeper thing, black thing here, flip it back down. But it was just too hard trying to do all this and trying to film it, but you get the basic idea. Okay, and now gotta turn it back on this way. I'll take this screw back out. And now we're going to get that little thing that gathers the light, and you see it goes in there like that, with this part where it's raised right here. This little raised part is going to go in here like that. So the side of the raised part goes in there, and then the two little, it's got like two little feet on the bottom there. They go in just down like this. It's actually, it sits in this little, it sits in that cable right there. Well, sits in there like that, with the little raised part going this way to this side of the LCD. And then you gotta, without it falling out, push that part together. Yeah, it didn't feel like it went in there right. Maybe it did. Let's just check it. And it looks like it's in there. Okay, get your two big screws. Go on the bottom here. And then the three little itty bitty ones that go back here. Okay. Yeah. Get the battery. Powered on. Let's see what you got. Good screen. Looks real nice. Okay, that'll about do it.